The stars twinkled silently as the massive alien ship appeared at the edge of the solar system. It was the year 2183, and humanity had spread across Mars and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The ship was unlike anything humans had built, smooth, curved, and glowing with strange blue lights. On Earth, screens lit up in every control center. Phones rang. Alarms sounded. President Harris called an emergency meeting with all world leaders. "They're requesting to meet," said the NASA director, her voice shaking slightly. "They say they come in peace. They call themselves the Galactic Council." 2 days later, Ambassador Elaine Morgan stood on the observation deck of the orbital station Artemis. Her heart raced, but her face remained calm. Beside her, Colonel Frank Harrison watched the approaching shuttle with narrowed eyes. "Remember," he said quietly, "we represent all of Earth. Don't agree to anything without consulting home." Elaine nodded. "I know the protocol, Colonel." The alien shuttle docked with barely a sound. When the doors opened, Elaine fought to keep her expression neutral. The alien was tall and slender with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer. It had 4 arms and large, dark eyes that blinked sideways. "I am Zarthol of the Viridian Hegemony, representative of the Galactic Council," the alien said in perfect English. "We have been observing your species for some time." Elaine stepped forward. "Ambassador Elaine Morgan of Earth. This is Colonel Frank Harrison. We welcome you to our solar system." Zarthol's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "We bring good news. The Council has voted to accept humans into our galactic community. We have prepared the standard integration treaty for your immediate signature." Frank tensed beside Elaine as the alien produced a small device that projected a holographic document in the air. "That's very kind," Elaine said carefully. "However, we will need time to review the terms and consult with our governments." The alien blinked rapidly. "Review. But all species sign the standard treaty upon first contact. It is tradition." "Earth has traditions too," Frank said. "Reading contracts before signing them is one of them." Later that day, as Earth's best legal minds and translators pored over the treaty, Frank sat with Elaine in the station's mess hall. "Did you notice their technology?" he asked quietly. "Their weapon systems aren't as advanced as I expected. Their shuttle had minimal defenses." Elaine nodded. "And did you catch how surprised Zarthol was when we didn't immediately sign? It's like they've never been questioned before." In the United Earth Government's secure chamber, the treaty's translation appeared on every screen. President Harris read aloud the key section. "Earth will be classified as a protected developing world, with expansion limited to current solar system boundaries until Council review in 500 standard years." "They want to cage us in," said General Martinez, slamming her fist on the table. "For 5 centuries. "There's more," said the Secretary of Science. "The technology sharing sections are heavily restricted. We'd be dependent on them for crucial advancements." 3 days later, Elaine stood before Zarthol again. The alien's silvery skin had taken on a slight purple tinge. "The United Earth Government thanks the Galactic Council for their offer," she said formally. "However, we must reject the standard integration treaty as it currently stands." Zarthol's 4 arms trembled slightly. "Reject. No species has ever rejected their first treaty. Perhaps no species was ever given the chance," Frank said. As the alien shuttle departed, Elaine watched it grow smaller against the blackness of space. "Do you think we just made a terrible mistake?" she asked. Frank shook his head. "No, we just showed them that humans won't be pushed around." On the shuttle, Zarthol sent an urgent message to the Council. "Humans have rejected the treaty. I repeat, they have rejected standard integration. Request immediate Council session. This species is different." 3 months after the humans rejected the treaty, the Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. 200 alien representatives from across the galaxy sat in rising tiers around a central platform. The massive chamber glowed with soft blue light as Zarthol stepped forward to speak. "Esteemed members of the Council," he began, his silver skin reflecting the light, "I present my complete findings on the species known as humans." Projected images of Earth and its colonies filled the air above him. Ships moving between planets, cities under domes on Mars, and humans working and living throughout their solar system. "Their technological development is unprecedented," Zarthol continued. "In the last century alone, they have progressed from primitive combustion vehicles to building self-sustaining colonies on multiple worlds." A murmur spread through the chamber. A large reptilian alien raised a clawed hand. "How is this possible without guidance? All species develop at the standard rate." "Unknown." Council member Kravosh replied Zarthol. "But there is more. Our intelligence suggests a human physicist named Alan Pierce has independently discovered principles of faster-than-light travel." The chamber erupted in alarmed voices. Council Elder Xendo, ancient and small with pale blue skin, called for silence. "I have lived for 700 cycles," the elder said slowly. "There are ancient legends of rare species who evolved differently. War species, they were called, driven by conflict and competition to advance at dangerous rates." Trade Director Lumina, a being of shifting colors and light, spoke next. "We should impose economic sanctions immediately. Cut them off from the independent trading routes." "No," growled Kravosh, military overseer of the council. "We should establish a quarantine around their system. Position our fleets to ensure they cannot leave." Unknown to the council, their supposedly secure communications were being monitored. In a darkened room on Earth, Director of Intelligence Sophia Williams listened to every word. She turned to her team. "Send this to the President immediately," she ordered, "and increase production at the lunar shipyards. If they're talking quarantine, we need to be ready." Back in the council chamber, Zarthol raised all four of his hands for attention. "The humans are different from other species we have encountered," he said. "They question everything. They do not accept authority simply because it exists. I believe force would be a mistake." "What do you propose?" asked Elder Xendo. "A new treaty. More generous terms. Let them expand to nearby star systems. Offer real technology exchanges." Kravosh slammed his fist down. "Madness. Give them space to grow, to build more ships, more weapons." Lumina's colors shifted to deep purple, perhaps limited expansion with close monitoring. "We could place observation posts in any system we allow them to colonize." As the council debated, Alan Pierce worked in his laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains. He adjusted the field parameters of his experimental drive, unaware that he was the subject of an interstellar discussion. The device hummed, creating a small bubble of distorted spacetime. Alan smiled as his instruments showed success. The bubble had briefly touched another point in space 10 light-minutes away. It wasn't practical yet, but it was proof his theory worked. In the presidential office in New Washington, President Harris reviewed the intelligence from the council meeting. "They're afraid of us," he said to his advisors. "Not our weapons or our numbers, but our potential." Ambassador Morgan nodded. "They've never encountered a species that didn't immediately fall in line." "What's our next move, sir?" asked Colonel Harrison. "We prepare, we build, and when they come with their next treaty, we make it clear that humanity will not be contained." On the council homeworld, the members finally voted. They would draft a new treaty, offering humans limited expansion rights and some technology sharing. Zarthol left the chamber worried. He sensed the council still didn't understand. Humans wouldn't accept being allowed to expand. They saw it as their right. As he looked up at the night sky, he wondered which distant star housed the strange, stubborn creatures that had disrupted 5,000 years of galactic order with a single word. The Galactic Council proposed a scientific exchange program as a show of goodwill. Dr. Nicole Martinez packed her bags carefully, double-checking her research equipment. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she had been chosen to visit the council homeworld. She felt both excited and nervous, ready to meet the aliens on their turf. Major Gregory Wells asked as he entered her quarters. The military officer had been assigned as her escort and security detail. Nicole nodded. I've been studying their biology for months from the samples they provided, but seeing their world firsthand, it's a dream come true. The journey took 3 weeks aboard a council vessel. Nicole spent the time learning alien languages and studying council records they were allowed to access. Gregory quietly observed the crew's routines and memorized the ship's layout. The council homeworld was beautiful, a planet with 3 moons and vast purple oceans. The Council Science Academy stood on a floating platform above a major city. Nicole and Gregory were greeted by scientists Trelkor and Umizal. "Welcome to Centrix Prime," said Trelkor, a tall alien with 6 eyes arranged in a circle on its face. "We have prepared laboratories for your research." In the following weeks, Nicole worked alongside alien scientists, sharing knowledge about Earth biology while learning about other species. One day, she noticed Trelkor and other scientists watching her solve complex problems. "You seem fascinated by how I work," Nicole said. Trelkor's eyes blinked in sequence. "Humans approach problems differently. You make intuitive leaps that our species would not consider." "Is that unusual?" she asked. "Very. Most council species think similarly, following established patterns. Your species shows unique cognitive flexibility. It makes some council members concerned." While Nicole worked in the labs, Gregory explored the academy. He secretly mapped restricted areas and gathered intelligence on council military capabilities. One evening, he slipped into a secure archive and downloaded files on council defense systems before returning undetected. 5 weeks into their visit, Nicole discovered something disturbing in the biology archives, records of other aggressive species that the council had dealt with throughout history. Some had been contained on their homeworlds. Others were listed as pacified or extinct. That night, she met Gregory in their shared common room, making sure no listening devices were active. "They're afraid of us," she whispered. "They've eliminated species they couldn't control before." Gregory nodded. "Their military technology is advanced, but their tactics are predictable. They haven't fought a real war in thousands of years." Back on Earth, President Harris received the second treaty offer from the Council. It allowed limited human expansion to 3 nearby star systems, but required Council approval for any military vessels and established monitoring stations in each system. He called an international summit where leaders from all Earth nations reviewed the terms. "This is still a cage, just a slightly larger one," said the European Union president. "They're offering advanced medical technology in exchange," noted the African Alliance representative. "Technology we become dependent on," replied the Asian coalition leader. "Once we rely on them, they control us." After 3 days of debate, Earth's unified response was drafted. Ambassador Morgan delivered it personally to Zarth Hull at the Lunar Diplomatic Station. "Earth thanks the Council for its revised offer," she said formally. "However, we must reject any treaty that does not recognize humanity as full equals with the right to self-determination and unrestricted peaceful expansion." Zarth Hull's skin darkened with emotion. "Ambassador, you must understand the Council's position. No species has ever been granted such rights immediately." "Then perhaps it's time for change," Elaine replied. "Humanity will not accept a subordinate position." As Zarth Hull's shuttle departed, Colonel Harrison joined Elaine at the viewport. "What do you think they'll try next?" he asked. "They'll either offer a better deal or show their true colors," she said. "Either way, we need to be prepared." On the Council homeworld, Nicole and Gregory were recalled early. As they packed, Nicole found a message from Trelkor on her tablet. "Some of us admire your independence. Be careful. Not all Council members seek peaceful solutions." 1 year after first contact, a human patrol ship floated near Neptune. Captain Lisa Ramirez sipped her coffee as she watched the monitors. Suddenly, alarms blared. "Captain, 3 Council vessels just appeared on the edge of our scanner range," called out her sensor officer. Battle stations, Lisa ordered calmly. Inform Earth Command. Similar incidents had happened 5 times in the past month. Council ships would appear, test human responses, then retreat. No shots had been fired yet, but everyone felt the tension growing. On Mars Colony, Admiral Susan Cooper reviewed the latest report. As commander of Earth's expanding fleet, she worried about these encounters. "They're prodding our defenses," she told her staff, "measuring our response times." 2 days later, a new alien arrived at the lunar diplomatic station. Unlike the now familiar council representatives, this one had pale green skin and large reflective eyes. "I am Paxtor," the alien announced, independent diplomat. "I propose a solution to growing tensions, a neutral zone." Admiral Cooper was called to lead the diplomatic military delegation. She met with Paxtor in the station's conference room, flanked by diplomats and security personnel. "Explain this neutral zone," she said. Paxtor displayed a holographic map, a buffer between human and council space. No military vessels from either side permitted, only civilian and trade ships. After weeks of negotiation, the neutral zone agreement was established. It created a region several light-years wide between Earth's solar system and council territory. Neither side could place military assets there. But while official diplomatic channels quieted, other activities increased. Independent trader species began visiting Earth. The Rathi, 6 armed merchants with tough brown skin, were the first to establish regular trade routes. Then came the bird-like Tulare, whose ships were the fastest in known space. From these visitors, humans learned the Galactic Council's dirty secrets. Many species were essentially slaves, forced to provide resources to the dominant council members. "The Tulare told me their homeworld's resources belong to the Viridian hegemony," Admiral Cooper said during a secure meeting with Earth's leadership. "They're only allowed to keep 30% of what they mine." President Harris frowned, and the Rathi mentioned similar arrangements. "Both species have asked discreetly about our stance on their independence," Admiral Cooper added. "Careful," warned Colonel Harrison. "The Council would view that as interference." Meanwhile, Council ships violated the neutral zone 3 times, claiming navigational errors. Earth vessels did the same, always with polite apologies. Both sides were testing boundaries. In his personal laboratory, Alan Pierce made a breakthrough. His faster-than-light drive prototype successfully transported a small probe to Alpha Centauri and back. Earth now had independent FTL capability, though they kept this secret from the Council. Council spy drones were discovered in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Earth protested the violation. The Council claimed the drones were scientific in nature, not military. Admiral Cooper supervised the growth of Earth's fleet as shipyards on Luna and Mars worked day and night. Council technology acquired through trade with independent species was reverse-engineered and improved upon. "We've learned something interesting," she told President Harris during a private briefing. "Council ships have powerful shields, but their actual hulls are surprisingly fragile. They haven't fought a real war in so long. They've focused on avoiding damage rather than surviving it." The president nodded. "Keep that information secure. If negotiations fail, it could be vital." On a distant council world, Zarful met secretly with Trade Director Lumina. "The humans are forming bonds with the Rathi and Tulare," Zarful said. "If this continues, other subjugated species may look to humans for inspiration." Lumina's colors darkened with worry. The military overseer is pushing for stronger action. He believes humans must be controlled before they grow too powerful. "And if that fails?" Zarful asked. "Then the Council must ensure humans don't leave their solar system alive." Back on Earth, Admiral Cooper received troubling intelligence from a Rathi trader. The Council was preparing a third treaty, but military forces were being positioned as well. "We hoped for peace," she told her officers, "but we've prepared for war." Keith Spencer checked his disguise in the mirror. The synthetic skin made him look like a Tulare trader, with feathered ridges along his arms and a pointed face. As an elite operative for Earth intelligence, he had spent months learning to move like the bird people. Today, he would infiltrate a council trading post in the Rigel system. "Remember," his handler said through the secure earpiece, "get the data and get out. No heroics." Keith nodded and boarded his modified merchant vessel. His mission: steal information about Council military deployments. While Keith traveled to Council space on Earth, Dr. Olivia Carter worked in a secure underground facility. Test after test showed her new shield technology could withstand Council energy weapons. The breakthrough came from combining human ingenuity with concepts learned from trading partners. "Run the test again," she told her team. "Double the power." The shield shimmered as the energy beam hit it, but held strong. Olivia smiled. This would give Earth ships a critical advantage. In Council space, the assassin Deckmore received his orders. The slim, pale alien had killed 47 targets for the Council. His new mission: eliminate 3 human scientists working on military technology. He studied images of their faces as his ship headed toward the solar system. On Mars colony, Admiral Cooper met with representatives from the Rathi and Tulari. "Your people seek freedom from Council control," she said. "Earth supports this. But we must move carefully." The Rathi elder clicked his 4 upper hands together. "My people have supplies ready to send to your shipyards. We've disguised them as regular trade goods." The Tulare ambassador bobbed her feathered head. "And our fastest ships will carry your messages to other species who question Council rule." A rebellion was brewing across multiple star systems, with Earth quietly supporting those who sought independence. Keith Spencer crawled through maintenance tunnels in the Rigel trading post. He reached a secure data terminal and attached a small device to download classified files. As information streamed into his storage unit, alarms suddenly blared. "Intruder alert. Security breach in Section 7, announced a mechanical voice. Keith grabbed the device and ran. Council guards fired energy weapons, but he dodged between cargo containers. At the last moment, he slipped onto his ship and blasted away from the station. 3 Council vessels gave chase, but Keith activated a special drive that let him escape. Back on Earth, he delivered the stolen data to Intelligence Headquarters. "It's worse than we thought," said Director Williams after reviewing the files. "They're positioning fleets at every approach to our solar system. They're planning to box us in completely." In a luxury apartment on Luna, Deckmore had killed 2 of his targets. He prepared to eliminate the 3rd, Dr. Carter, but Earth intelligence had been tracking him. As he approached Carter's lab, a security team led by Colonel Harrison surrounded him. "The Council sent an assassin," Harrison reported to President Harris. "He killed 2 of our top researchers before we caught him." The president's face hardened. "Then they've already started a war, just not openly." Days later, the Council presented their 3rd treaty offer. It recognized humans as equals but imposed strict military limitations. Earth would be allowed to expand to nearby star systems, but could not build warships above a certain size or power. Earth's leadership met to discuss the offer. The debate lasted for hours. "They fear us," said Admiral Cooper. "This treaty would keep us weak while appearing fair. And we have proof they're preparing military action, even while offering peace," added Director Williams. President Harris made the final decision. "We reject this treaty too. Earth will not be limited by those who send assassins while talking of peace." Ambassador Morgan delivered the rejection personally. The Council representatives were no longer surprised, just angry. As Morgan returned to her ship, she received a message from the Rathi homeworld. Their rebellion had begun. Council forces were fighting to maintain control. The Shadow War was becoming a real one, and humanity stood ready to face whatever came next. The conference room on Mars colony buzzed with activity. Representatives from 7 different alien species sat around a large table with human diplomats. Above them, a holographic sign shimmered. Alliance of Independent Species, Founding Summit. Ambassador Diana Foster stood to address the gathering. "Friends, we come together today not just as allies against Council oppression, but as equals building a new future. The Rathi rebellion had spread to 3 systems. The Tulare had declared independence. The Novar, reptilian engineers who had long chafed under council resource demands, had sent delegates. So had the Zenari, Paxvor, Linthi, and Morday, all species seeking freedom from council control. Commander Ryan Edwards led the Alliance's first joint military exercise. Human ships flew alongside Tulare Swift Strikers and heavily armored Rathi cruisers. The different species had different strengths, and Ryan worked to create tactics that used them effectively. Human vessel Dauntless, a just position to coordinate with Tulare Squadron. He ordered from the command ship. Acknowledged, came the response. Moving to grid position Theta 3. The alien ships moved with precision alongside their human counterparts. Years of council rule had not broken their spirit or skill. Meanwhile, on the council homeworld, chaos reigned. Military overseer Kravosh stormed into the council chamber. "The humans have caused this," he roared, his reptilian scales flaring with anger. "They spread dissent and rebellion throughout our territory." Elder Xendo raised a small hand for calm. "We must consider our response carefully. Direct military action against Earth could unite more species against us." Kravosh slammed his clawed fist on the table. "Weakness. We should crush them now. I have positioned our fleets in preparation." "Without council approval," noted Zarthal, "you have exceeded your authority." Kravosh turned to the other council members. "Who stands with me to preserve our galactic order? Who will help me stop these humans before they destroy everything we've built?" Several representatives moved to his side. Others remained seated, including Zarthal and Lumina. "So be it," said Kravosh. "I declare emergency powers under Council Defense Protocol 7. Those who oppose me will be considered traitors." Guards loyal to Kravosh entered the chamber. A coup had begun. Back on Earth, President Harris received the news from intelligence sources. "The council is fracturing," he told his advisors. "Kravosh has seized control with military support, but many council members oppose him." Keith Spencer, now recovered from his mission, added, "Our sources say several moderates are willing to reach out to us secretly. They fear Kravosh will start a full-scale war." "Which is exactly what he wants," said Admiral Cooper. "He believes the Council can still win through superior numbers." On a neutral trading station near the border of Council space, Diana Foster met secretly with Zarthal. The Viridian looked tired, his silver skin dulled with stress. "Kravosh has taken command of our main fleets," he said quietly. "He plans to attack Earth directly, ignoring the risk of other rebellions." "We can protect ourselves," Diana assured him. "But more blood will be spilled on both sides." "There is another way," Zarthal said. "Many council worlds would accept a reformed system, one where all species have equal rights, if enough of us stand together against Kravosh." "A civil war within the council," Diana said softly. Zarthal nodded sadly. "Perhaps unavoidable now." The Alliance Defense Network expanded quickly. Dr. Benjamin Howard unveiled a new communication system that used principles Council science had never explored. It allowed instant messaging between Alliance worlds without detection by Council monitoring. As 12 more species joined the Alliance, the Council drafted a 4th treaty. It would recognize the Alliance as legitimate, but divide galactic territory between Council and Alliance control. When the offer reached Earth, the Alliance leaders met to discuss it. The debate was short. "They still see themselves as the rightful rulers," said the Rathi elder. "Just willing to share a small portion of space. The Council must be reformed from within," added Zarthal, now officially a defector. "Or it will continue to threaten freedom throughout the galaxy." President Harris made the announcement that evening. "The Alliance of Independent Species rejects this treaty. We seek not division of the galaxy, but liberation of all species to determine their own destiny." In his command center, Kravosh received the news with a cold smile. "Ready the fleet," he ordered. "We strike at Proxima Centauri first, then Earth itself." Alarms blared across the Proxima Centauri colony. Red lights flashed in every corridor and home. On the command center's main screen, dozens of Council warships appeared from faster-than-light travel. "Evacuation protocols active. All civilians to shelters," announced the colony eye. General Laura Phillips stood calmly at the command console. She had expected this attack. The colony's defenses were ready, and reinforcements waited nearby, hidden. "Council forces have launched fighters," reported her second-in-command. "They're moving toward the orbital platforms." Laura opened a secure channel. "All defense units, this is General Phillips. Hold positions until I mark. Let them commit fully to the attack." The Council warships spread out in standard formation. They had used the same tactics for thousands of years with few changes. Military Overseer Kravosh watched from his command ship, confident in his overwhelming force. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Show no mercy to human structures. They must learn the cost of defiance." Energy beams struck the colony's outer defenses. Council fighters swarmed toward the main habitat domes. But something was wrong. Their weapons caused less damage than expected. On her command ship, Laura smiled as data came in. "Dr. Carter's shield technology is working perfectly. Now spring the trap. All forces engage." Suddenly, Alliance ships appeared from hiding positions behind Proxima's planets and larger asteroids. The newly commissioned Earth vessel Defiance led the charge, its advanced drives allowing it to move faster than any Council ship. "What is this?" Kravosh demanded as new contacts filled his tactical display. "They should not have this many ships here." The Alliance forces moved with perfect coordination. Tulare Swift Strikers darted between larger Council vessels, their speed making them nearly impossible to hit. Wrathy cruisers absorbed heavy fire, while human ships targeted Council weak points with precision strikes. Laura directed the battle from her command center. "Novar squadrons, target their engine systems. Human teams, focus fire on the command ships." The Council forces began to break formation. They had not faced a real battle in centuries and struggled to adapt to the Alliance's innovative tactics. Aboard his ship, Kravosh raged at his officers. "Reform the line. Call in our reserves." "Sir, the human ships are using attack patterns we've never seen," an officer replied. "And their shields resist our weapons." When 3 Council destroyers exploded in quick succession, the remaining fleet began to retreat. The Battle of Proxima Centauri ended in just 4 hours with a decisive Alliance victory. Laura made sure rescue ships saved Council survivors. "We're not fighting to destroy them," she told her officers. "We're fighting to change them." News of the battle spread quickly. Dr. Benjamin Howard's communication technology allowed uncensored reports to reach worlds throughout Council space. Videos showed Council ships retreating from human forces. More rebellions erupted on a dozen worlds. On the Council homeworld, Tsar Thol and his allies seized the moment. With many military forces away at Proxima, they moved against Kravosh's supporters in the government. "The military overseer has led us to disaster," Tsar Thol announced to a gathering of Council representatives. "We must sue for peace before more lives are lost." Some military commanders, seeing the footage from Proxima, refused to continue fighting. "The humans defeated our best ships with ease," one veteran commander told his peers. "We cannot win this war." President Harris addressed the Alliance from Earth. "Today's victory belongs to all free species. We do not seek to destroy the Council, but to reform it. To create a galaxy where all beings have equal rights and dignity." In his quarters on a retreat vessel, Kravosh received news of the political uprising on the homeworld. His scales darkened with rage. "Traitors, all of them. The humans have corrupted everything." His aide entered nervously. "Sir, the Council's inner circle is meeting to discuss surrender terms." Kravosh threw a datapad against the wall. "Surrender? Never. I would rather see the galaxy burn than ruled by humans and their allies." On Earth, Ambassador Morgan prepared a document unlike any before. Not a response to a Council treaty, but humanity's own proposal, the Galactic Reformation Treaty. It would transform the old order into something new, a true federation of equals. As she finalized the text, Morgan smiled. Let's see them reject our treaty for a change. 5 years after first contact, the Great Chamber of the Galactic Council looked very different. The raised platform where only council elites once stood now held representatives from dozens of species. The tiered seating no longer separated species by rank or power. President William Harris walked the center of the chamber. The first human leader to address the reformed Galactic Assembly received respectful silence. 5 years ago, a ship appeared at the edge of our solar system, he began. We were offered membership in a galactic community, but only as lesser beings. Today, we gather as equals. Around the chamber, former council vassal species now sat with full voting rights. The Rathi, Tulari, Novar, and many others who had joined the alliance during the conflict were now part of this new government. Zarthol, once a council representative and now an advocate for cooperation, stood beside Ambassador Morgan. His silver skin gleamed under the chamber lights. The Galactic Reformation Treaty has been ratified by 87% of known worlds, Zarthol announced. Today begins a new era of true cooperation. The treaty established a new order. No species could claim authority over another. All had the right to develop without interference. A mutual defense pact protected all signatories from outside threats. Kravosh and his most loyal followers had fled to the outer regions of the galaxy after their defeat. Occasional raids occurred on border worlds, but the combined fleets of the reformed galaxy kept them contained. After the ceremony, Keith Spencer led a team of historians into the sealed council archives. For thousands of years, these records had been restricted to only the highest council members. Now they were being opened. Look at this, Keith said, pointing to ancient records. Humanity isn't the first war species to challenge the council. There were others throughout history. His team discovered files on dozens of species that had questioned council authority. Some had been peacefully integrated after accepting their place. Others had been contained on their homeworlds, their technology restricted. A few had been eliminated entirely when they refused to submit. They erased these species from galactic history, said a Tulare historian, her feathers ruffling with anger. My people never knew others had resisted before. On Earth, Dr. Olivia Carter and Dr. Benjamin Howard opened the Galactic Academy, where students from all species could study together. The campus in the Rocky Mountains welcomed the first class of 5,000 students from 30 different worlds. By sharing knowledge freely, we ensure no single group can control information again, Olivia told the assembled students on opening day. Commander Ryan Edwards, now Admiral Edwards, led combined fleet exercises that incorporated the strengths of each species: Tulare speed, Rathi toughness, human adaptability, and Novar technical skills created a defense force unlike any the galaxy had seen before. At a memorial ceremony on a neutral world, representatives from across the galaxy gathered to honor species that had been eliminated by the old council. Stone monuments bore the names of civilizations most living beings had never heard of. We remember the Keldari, the Vox, the Centauri, and others who stood for freedom and paid the ultimate price, said Ambassador Morgan in her address. Their resistance was not in vain. The principles they died for now form the foundation of our united galaxy. As the ceremony ended, urgent news arrived from deep space monitoring stations. Unknown vessels had appeared at the edge of charted space. Their technology matched nothing in any database. President Harris met with the Assembly's Security Council. Representatives from 12 species reviewed the limited data. We face a new challenge, Harris said. But unlike the old council, we face it together, as equals. Zarthol studied the sensor readings. Once, the council would have hidden this threat from lesser species. Now we must all prepare together. Admiral Edwards presented a defense plan combining the strengths of all member species. Humanity rejected every treaty that would have kept us weak and divided. Now the galaxy stands united and strong. As representatives filed out to prepare their worlds, Ambassador Morgan looked at the star map showing the approaching unknown ships. "We rejected their treaties," she said quietly to Zarthal. "And in doing so, we may have saved the galaxy."